Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Huddle for Friday, June 11th of 2021. I am Danilo Vargas, Small Business Innovation Manager in the Office of Miami-Dade Mayor Daniela Levine Cava. So, as you guys know, the Huddle is all about connecting you to the leaders and resources that you need to win. And today is no different. Today, we're going to be talking financial prosperity with the micro business catalyst, Yasmin Montalvo. But I want to show you some great stuff before we introduce our featured guest. Can you see the screen, guys?
Yes.
All righty. So we have a bunch of things. So Babson College is one of the most amazing entrepreneurship pioneers, really, in the world. And we're letting some folks in. Thank you, Enrique. And they have opened their next cohort, which starts in the fall. And the applications are being accepted, and you guys, I think, June 23rd, okay? This is like the stellar program to get training on becoming a better entrepreneur, either to start your business or to take it to the next level. This is a premier program that I encourage you guys to check out. All the links that I've shared with you, that I'm sharing with you today, are in the chat box, so please be sure to save that. So that being said, as you can see, some amazing entrepreneurs graduate from this program, and Babson is very strong about helping women become powerful entrepreneurs. So I want you guys to please take a look, see if this is something that interests you. It's a great opportunity, and it's something you will not regret, because I've heard so many high praise for this program. So that being said, I also want to let you know about a grant. I get asked a lot about, Danny, what are some of the grants that are out there? And so this is one from Stacy's Pita Chips.
Wow.
All right, so if you're in the food space, good morning. Guys, if everybody can mute themselves, please. Thank you so much. So there's a $10,000 grant being offered under Stacy's Rise Project. And it also includes a mentorship in the food industry from Frito-Lay, I believe it is. So the requirements are very doable. You have to have a business between $25,000 in revenue and no more than $1 million. And I see folks coming in, that's fantastic. And there's a virtual mentorship program with amazing folks and leaders that Frito-Lay selects, PepsiCo, Frito-Lay leaders, and other industry experts. So check that out. The Stacy's Rise Project applications for that grant are now open. Now there's another grant here from the, it's called the Amber Grant, and Women's Net is every month selecting an entrepreneur, and they grant $10,000. At the end of the year, they have 12 grantees, and one of them gets selected to receive additional funding. Excuse me. So this is another great opportunity for a grant. You still have time to apply. The deadline is June 30th of this year. So check it out. Again, the link is in the chat box. Take a look. Now, here at home, the Miami Bayside Foundation is offering a training program, which I've also heard many great things about. And it's a 14-session program that starts, they're selecting folks now. And as you can see here, starts on July 20th, and it's very intensive. As you can see, the syllabus here is all about your business and taking it to the next level, from all aspects of running your business effectively. And the deadline to apply is June 29th. So please take a look at that. And again, everything's in the chat box, so you don't have to miss a thing. Also, sometimes here at the Morning Huddle, it's not just about what we can get out of it. It's also about how you can spread the good word to others and bless them with good information, because believe it or not, that's something I'm finding is critical. Bring these resources to others that may need them. I was in a meeting yesterday about the difficulties of kids and not having connectivity, and the importance of that in today's world where everything is more technological, right? In Miami, we're talking a lot about how can we become a techno hub for the world, really. And so how can we do that if a lot of our population, our people are not connected? So if you know anybody who needs that internet connection and are struggling with that, please have them check out Miami Connected. Are you the parent, guardian of a student who attends Miami-Dade County Public Schools and who needs broadband internet service at home? Share your phone number below. this is a resource you can share with others. If you know of anybody who may be struggling with this, it's so important for our kids to stay educated and connected. And lastly, my colleague, Ms. Dr. Ana Etienne, who works with us in the Office of Equity and Inclusion that the mayor established, has a great event scheduled for June 16th. So this is next week. It's called Moving Forward, Grow Your Local Business Online. And this event is great. There's a great panel of folks. Dr. Ana Etienne she heads Startup FIU Food. I would love for her to come and join us in the morning huddle. We'll set that up for the future, so stay tuned. And she has some great panelists, including a buyer from Whole Foods. So if you're in the food industry and you want to connect with Whole Foods, this is a great opportunity. Or if you know anybody who may be able to benefit, the link to this page so you can register and check out the panelists. MJ Green has been in the morning huddle. Nirvi Santos has been in the morning huddle. And Daniela Simo and Delina Campa are great connections as well. So check this event out. And that's it. All these links are in the chat box. So I know it's a lot. What do you guys think? Amazing opportunity, right?
Wow.
Great. All right, guys. So now I'm going to introduce our featured guest for today. She is Yasnei Montalvo, and she's a business coach, trainer, mentor, and consultant with a focus on social entrepreneurship. She is the daughter of Cuban immigrant parents who started a local convenience store in Miami. This was her motivation to serve the micro business community in collaboration with community development organizations. Yasnei brings over 15 years of experience as an accountant and entrepreneur, which means she understands both sides of the equation. This makes the process of organizing a business's finances a lot more painless. Yasnei holds a bachelor's degree in accounting from the Honors College at FIU, is a Quickbooks certified pro advisor, and a neuro-linguistic programming practitioner. Please help me welcome Ms. Yasnei Montalvo to the Morning Huddle. Woo, Yasnei.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I'm so grateful to be here today. I've been here before as a participant, and I got to know many of you, but I love the atmosphere of this group. You know, the fact that we're all a family here, not only learning about resources, but you see Danilo introduces everybody. They know everybody by the name. If he doesn't know your name yet, introduce yourself, because that's who we are. We become a family here at the Morning Huddle. And I appreciate you all being here so I can share with you some more of the resources, how I can support you, and just to get to know you a little bit more from this perspective.
Yasnei, I wanted to ask you about your journey from, your business journey, small business journey, all the way to from, your formation as an entrepreneur, all the way to today, being a micro business analyst. Can you share that journey with us?
Thank you. Yes, of course. Well, I can tell you in the last 10, 14, well, in my 20s, I jump around a lot. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate when you are trying to figure out what you want to do with your life. And maybe you went to school and that's not aligned with what you're passionate about. So that was my situation. I went to school, I graduated with an accounting degree. I got the dream offers in the accounting career, the big four, what everybody's looking for. And I gave up that without knowing what I wanted to do with my life. And I'm like, this is not it. I did the internships, this is not it. Then I tried, what did I try? I went to Target and I work as a manager in retail. I tried professional recruiting in accounting and finance. I tried selling insurance. Then I don't know. You can see my resume, but I learned in the process what was consistent was my involvement in my family business since I was 18 years old. Since we came from Cuba, 1 year after we came from Cuba, my dad came actually in 1994 in a raft. So it took us 11 years to reunite the family. I came with my mom, my sister in 2005. And 1 year later, we opened the store, a dollar store in Little Havana. We learned in the process. So since I was in high school, I was involved with my family business. And as I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, and I realized this is it. One thing I can tell you is that I have been involved in my family business for all these years. So, and this aligned with one project I did back in college when I was at FIU, understanding the resources available for small businesses and realizing that many businesses, like my parents, didn't have access to those resources. They were clueless. So I was a catalyst for my parents. I helped them implement a lot of these things, but a lot of small businesses in the community don't have that. And this is why I dedicate my life to it today.
Wow, fantastic. So what is a micro business catalyst, Yasmin? And what do you do for your clients?
Catalyst, and I call myself specifically micro business because, as you know, my story, the definition of micro business is this mom and pop stores, the mom and pop businesses, the family oriented, normally less than 10 employees, less than $1 million in revenue if you try to put it in a box. But it's just the family businesses. And as a catalyst, I support them sometimes as a coach, sometimes as a trainer, a mentor, a consultant, a therapist. It depends, there's so many components when you are an entrepreneur that I get to wear all these different hats depending on what the goals are. Of course, because of my background in accounting, I focus a lot on the financial prosperity, but I do understand there is more to that. There is much more to that, and I'm going to share today with you 3 components that I think are extremely important for you to achieve financial prosperity. And I don't know if you have any other question for me, Danilo, or you want me to jump in?
I have a ton of questions, Yasmin, but please share those three components. We're all ears.
Yes. Something I realized is, as an accountant, a lot of professionals in the accounting industry just focus on the numbers, right? And they tell you, you gotta put the system, you gotta have the reports, you gotta do this and that. And yes, the numbers is all part of it, but there is more than that, because I realized that working with my clients, sometimes you can give them the program, you can give them the tools, the education, the resources, but there is still something that is blocking their way, that is blocking your way to get organized with the finances. So one very important component is the personal development. And your interpretation, your perception of personal development might be influenced by your own experience. But in a nutshell, you gotta be aware of what is blocking you. And I'll give you an example. Over the years, I've been coaching my mom as of why she buys so much inventory. Why do you have to purchase that just to put it in the wall and your money is in the wall? The clients ask you for one piece and you bought 12 of them. For one client that asks you for it. Why? And something, when I became a little bit more aware of this, I realized that where my mom and my dad and my family coming from Cuba come from, the scarcity that we have in Cuba. Why that creates a tendency to accumulate things. We don't throw things away just because, my mom will get things there and send them to Cuba 5 years later, but she's gonna have it there. And how that influences the way you run your business. And that is one aspect, how you purchase, the lack of boundaries, how you prioritize everybody else. You pay your bills on time, you pay your debt, and you don't pay yourself. You are the last person that's gonna see money from that business. Why? You undercharge, you give things away, you don't put the value that you should put on yourself. And I realized that a lot of these components have to do with your awareness. And how are you working on yourself so you can see it reflected on everything around you? Because your business is a reflection of you. It's that simple. It's that simple. So a couple of resources that I want to share with you aligned to the professional development. Some books that I've read recently and they have been helpful. It's called Atomic Habits. It's who you are today is a reflection of what you're doing or what you were doing 3 months ago, right? So Atomic Habits is a great book. Eat That Frog is another book that I found it very helpful. And just whatever works for you. For me, 3 years ago, I came across what I consider today a friend of mine that many of you know, Shirley Solis. I've been working with Shirley on my own personal development. If you need help, look for that help and work on yourself. So that's one aspect. The second aspect is that I realized the way you implement the processes, the systems to have an efficient business. Because the reality is, if your business depends on you, you don't have a business. It's that simple. What happened, and I share a lot of the experience with my friends because it's very close to me, but I see this with hundreds of entrepreneurs I've worked with over the years. You get sick, the business is closed. It's that simple. And if we learn something with this pandemic, is that we don't have control over any of it. So if you don't have the processes, the systems, if you don't put the things in place so you can delegate, so you can hire people that are going to follow a process, if you still in your mind think that nobody can do it the way you do it, and that nobody cares like you care, go back to the first point that I mentioned about professional development and personal development, because there's a lot of, one aspect that influences that is control. And why are you having that sense of control? Where is that coming from? And you gotta work on that, okay? And of course, the financial management, and with that I can, let me share some of the resources I use when it comes to efficiency processes, systems. I read a book and I'm doing the program, but you can read the book. It's called Run Like Clockwork. Run Like Clockwork. I read a book called The Millionaire Master Plan. And that was so eye-opening, The Millionaire Master Plan. The E-Myth, if you haven't read of it, when I read the E-Myth years ago for the first time, I'm like, oh my God, they're talking about my family. This is who we are. How do I know? That was eye-opening for me. And I personally use a very useful tool for project management that's called ClickUp. ClickUp. There are many of them, but just to give you a little pointers of the things you can start first. Absorbing the information, that's why reading is so important, and getting involved in the importance of this, and then implementing the tools. And of course, the financial management. And as an accountant, I get it, but as an entrepreneur, I get it even more. And I want to tell you, I'm going to try to make this story short. I think my husband joined the call at some point, and he would be laughing when I told him yesterday, I'm going to tell them the 3 analogy. And he was like, oh no, don't do that. But I think it's a nice picture for you to understand what the big picture with accounting. So visualize a tree. And with my accent, it might be confusing, but it's a tree, like un árbol, a tree. And the tree has the leaves and it has fruits depending on the season, right? And it has seasons that are up and down, and sometimes you get more fruit, sometimes you get nothing. You have the trunk of the tree, That if you cut it in half, you're gonna see the rings and you're gonna see the history. The story of that tree is in that trunk, right? But then for the tree to survive, you have to put water in it, okay? So it can prosper. So how is that aligned with your overall finances? The fruits is like your income statement, right? You have your revenue, you have your expenses. Sometimes you have net income, sometimes you have a loss. Sometimes you have fruit, sometimes you don't. It happens. Every year it starts from scratch. Every season it starts from scratch. So your income statement are your fruits. When you think of your trunk, that is your balance sheet. Your balance sheet, and many of you I know are not related with the term of balance sheet, but that's gonna change. Because your balance sheet is really what tells the story of your business from the get-go, right? Your accounts, your debts, your initial investment, how much money you've taken out, how much money you have in the bank, how much money you owe, everything is gonna show there. The story of your business is in the balance sheet. The story of that tree is in that trunk. But what do you need for the tree to survive? Anybody?
Water.
Water, right? Water. And the water, when it comes to your finances, is the cash flow. Cash is king, we all have heard of it. But without the cash flow, your business cannot just continue moving in a flow. So you have to inject that cash flow like you have to put water in a tree. So again, when somebody asks you about your financial statements, you think of the tree, your income statement, your balance sheet, and your cash flow statement. And that's gonna give you the big picture, right? I'm gonna give you much more resources as of what you can implement to get those statements, because I mean, you don't just get them out of the tree, but yeah, I just want you to have the big picture of why your financials are important. So I hope that helps.
Wow, those are 3 super powerful ideas. Yes, Nate, thank you so much. So work on yourself, personal development, right? Set up systems within your business that support what you're doing, that can help you run faster. And when you get sick or can't be in the business, or you go on vacation, the business is still running, right? And lastly, financial management. I love that line, the story of your business is in the balance sheet. So Jasne, when you talk to business owners, I want to start talking about how to build those financials, QuickBooks, etc. But what do you see when you have 15 years working with small business owners? I mean, what do you see when it comes to their financial management, to the third piece?
Wow, what do I see? You know, honestly, deep inside, the first thing I see is a family, is the importance of this business to get this right, to put food on the table, to send their kids to college, to that's their livelihood, right? So first and foremost, I take it very personal because of that. But something is very common is, well, there's a lot of businesses missing out on opportunities because they don't have these financials ready, because they don't know their numbers, because they don't have a system that keeps track of it. And they're not able to make business decisions based on numbers. A lot of people, yes, they want to help. You know, when you're working 12, 16 hours a day, you're exhausted. You say, I need help, but I need to hire somebody, but I got no money. Yeah, you might not see the money, but if you implement a system that allows you to keep track of things, you're gonna find where the money is flushing. You know, it's like if you have a hose and the water is leaking, where are the leaks? You need to know where the leaks are in order to put the solutions in place, right? So that's what a system does. And I do realize there's a lot of frustration in the community because many of you just see your tax tax preparer once a year. You send them the bank statements. They just put the numbers in there based on the bank statements, and you have no clue. You have no clue. If you're using cash, that's not in your taxes, that's not anywhere, that's not being accounted for, and it's important. And the other frustration I see is, well, a lot of people tell you the what. You have to implement the system, you have to know the reports, you have to know your numbers, but not many people are telling you the how or giving you the support to actually do it. And that's where I'm very passionate about, to provide the education, the support, and give you the tools so then you can do it. If you're interested in making it happen and get it organized, that's all I look for, that commitment from you. And accountants in general, it depends on their goals. So many accountants, this is their business, they would just want to do it for you. I personally want to do it with you. If you decide to delegate it in the future, amazing, but you gotta know. You gotta learn how to do it yourself. So then you can delegate, so then you can supervise, and you can see if your accountant is doing it correctly, So these are some of the frustrations I see in the community. And, the reality is that to go through this process, because of how it's not just the numbers, is the awareness, is the mindset, is, the fact that you're so busy in your business, you need support. You need hand-holding. That's what it takes to make it happen. And you, of course, you have to want it, but you need the support. And that's what I provide.
Excellent, Yasneen. So I wanted to open it up to the audience, to everybody here in the huddle, for any questions that you have. Please raise your hand, and we'll pass you the mic. Does anybody have a question? I have tons of more questions, so please raise your hand if you're interested in asking our expert today on finance, accounting, QuickBooks, any particular questions that you may have for your business. So to get this under control, Yasneen, and I see that Dr. Fran is, we'll go to Dr. Fran and then Ms. Gasoline, but I wanted to ask you real quickly, Yasneen, to get our money right in our businesses, to get that balance sheet that tells the story of my business under control. We know that there are tools like QuickBooks, and QuickBooks is not the only one, but it's the leading one that accountants use, and it's an industry leader. What's the first step to getting on that plan?
That's a very good question. And yes, QuickBooks is the industry leader. We're not endorsing QuickBooks, but the reality is they are trying to make things as easy as possible, to make it user-friendly, to create a system that just not for an accountant to understand. And when you get into QuickBooks and you get to understand the features it provides, is created for the day-to-day entrepreneurs like you. So there are many different resources, to be honest. And going back to some of the frustrations that some of you might have encountered with QuickBooks, just watching videos on YouTube, tons and tons of videos, might help, but it might get frustrating. I know last week in the morning huddle, there was the resources about the library. The library, if you've heard of lynda.com, or it's now LinkedIn Learning because it was bought by LinkedIn, they have a very complete training on QuickBooks Online that you can have access for free through the library card. But I want to share some of the resources that I personally provide, that I've gotten a lot of feedback recently, and I'm being very intentional on creating these resources bilingual in English and Spanish, because something I realized, even on YouTube, even on LinkedIn Learning, that they don't have much for the Spanish speakers, and it's important. It's important. So if you allow me, I can share the screen.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Share with them where they can find more. Let me do that. There we go. All right, can you see this page?
You can see it. Yeah, we can see it.
Perfect. So first of all, I want to give a shout out to Enrique from Accelerate South Day. He's been helping me to put this page together. We honestly did this rushing this week, because Danilo invited me to the Huddle, I'm like, oh, okay, I gotta finish this project. So it's a work in progress, but I did wanted to have something for you today. And Enrique is just amazing when it comes to, you know, Enrique for me has been like I'm gonna be for you with Quickbooks. It's that simple. This is a project I've been putting aside for months and months, and I needed a catalyst to help me. So that has been Enrique. Thank you.
Thank you, Enrique.
So in this page is microbusinesscatalyst.newsender.com, and you can share in the chat, Enrique or Danilo, if you have a chance. Newsender is a learning platform. That's what I'm using to put together the courses. So when you come here, first of all, you have access to me. If you want to have a follow-up conversation to see how we can work together, you can book a call, and it's going to take you straight to my Calendly to schedule a phone call. And here, this pop-up. If you sign up, it's not, I don't have a newsletter just yet, but I really want to have the opportunity to send you this free Quickbooks guide, very complete, directly from Intuit, over 200 pages of step-by-step guidance of how to use Quickbooks and how to implement it. So I'm going to be sending you all this PDF so you have access to it. I do want to share that I work in partnership with other organizations. These are some of them, and the list is continue to grow because I'm very passionate about supporting businesses like you in collaboration with community development organizations. You know, there's a lot of organizations out there, a lot of good people doing great work in the community, and I want to be part of it. So I currently work with, these organizations that have different contracts, so I can serve you through them, depending on the contact. And because of that, it might not cost you anything. For example, many of you that are today in this call have been working in partnership with the SBDC at FIU. They provide the services at no cost to you. I'm one of the consultants. All you have to do is sign up for the program, and hey, you're working with Yasnai through SBDC. Depending on the organization, some of them are more restricted, like Alapata CDC is a specific cohort in Alapata. But I can tell you today, the way you can have access to me right away, SBDC at FIU, and I would, start coaching you through them. With Prospera, I'm also one of their vendors, and I'll be doing a QuickBooks training in a couple of weeks, which you will find here in the events tab. I put here the upcoming events. So the QuickBooks training in Spanish with Prospera is coming up soon. So these are some of the things I mentioned, really, your frustrations, how you can solve them. I don't think I have to point that out, but the services that I provide is that QuickBooks Online, training, coaching, support. Very personalized. I take pride on doing one-on-one coaching. In the coaching industry, you will hear that, it's not profitable. And if it is, you gotta charge a lot for it. I believe that for you to move the needle with QuickBooks, you need one-on-one guidance. And that's what I do. I can help you with the cleanup, the catch-up, in collaboration with nonprofit organizations. I'm training the trainer because I realize that's the way to make a deeper impact. If I work with a nonprofit and I'm able to train their staff, so now they can duplicate me, that's how we're gonna make a deeper impact in the community, So that's one of my my ways to support. And of course, the business and leadership development, part of what I mentioned earlier about the importance of personal development awareness, I continue working on myself, and of course that passed on to my clients. This is the courses, extremely important. I'm having this for free now, and I hope I can keep it like that because I'm looking to grow my collaboration in the community with nonprofits. But if not, this is the type of material that's going to cost you a lot of money, because I'm doing 5 to 8 videos, quick tutorials, showing you the how, step-by-step in QuickBooks to cover each one of these topics. And this is growing. But what I realized is that when you watch a video on YouTube 1 hour long, by the time you finish, you forgot about everything. And then you don't remember the minute that they told you how to create an invoice, you know, and then you have to go back and it's just time consuming. So the way I'm designing this is, if you need to create an invoice, go to that, you know, specific video. If you need to work with your projects, if whatever it is, you know, you're gonna see the curriculum very detailed. Honestly, I'm still recording this, but if you wanna learn how to implement QuickBooks Online, you're gonna learn, first of all, difference between desktop and online, how to subscribe, how to, like, I'm walking you step by step because this is a complement to my one-on-one coaching. For me, it's more helpful when you have the opportunity to watch this in advance and then have a one-on-one meeting to answer specific questions. And when you finish the meeting, if you totally forgot about how to do it, you have this resource. So honestly, if you take one thing out of this conversation today, go to this page, go to the trainings tab, and make sure you sign up to these courses, whether it's in Spanish or in English.
Or English.
It's gonna put you in the right path. Okay.
That's awesome. Yes, Nate. Can you put the link in the chat box, please?
Yes,
the site?
I will. I will.
Fantastic.
The rest you can see on your own, but those key I do want to share with you.
Yeah, so I want to go to our questions, right, from the from our group here today. So I want to go to Miss Dr. Fran, then Gasoline, then Sabine.
Okay, thank you, Danella, and thank you, Yasne. I have spoken with you before, and I'm going to just be totally transparent. I have such a greater appreciation for all the departments that I used to manage, and I'm aware of the software that it takes to manage each department and the whole infrastructure, and I know just enough to know what they should be, each department should be delivering. But now as a solopreneur, I have purchased a lot of software, but I just don't have time to get into the trenches and really learn all the software that it takes to now run my own business. And I'm almost embarrassed to say that because for 30 years, I ran a very large organization. And now as a solopreneur, I'm struggling to have the time to learn all the software to manage, and I've been in all these classes. I'm in the Scale Up Miami class right now. So I've made a lot of investments to be able to get my business really up and going. But I'm just being totally transparent. When I look at even what you shared today, it was just overwhelming to me to have to learn all of that and how much time it would take. So I'm like Dr. Dyer. I'd rather just hire someone to do that for me. So that's my question. Can I just hire your company to manage my finances?
Yes, Knife. What do you say to that?
That's a good question. That's a good question. And honestly, my mission is to somehow shift that, right? Because yes, if you want to delegate it 100%, excellent. That is something that's you're gonna put the time in something that you value more, right? But why? Why are you delegating it? Because you really want to, or because you're afraid?
Not that I'm afraid, it's just so time consuming.
It's time
to go through the learning curves, because that's just one portion of software that has that I need to run my company. There's 10 or 15 others too. And so going through the learning curve for all of them, it's just more than I can handle. So it keeps me so bogged down in front of the computer that I'm not able to really do what I really love to do.
Yes,
I hope I said that correctly.
Yeah, I appreciate your transparency, and I'm sure a lot of entrepreneurs can relate to the way you feel. This is the way I can work with you. This is the way you can hire my company. And this is a decision we made together after we connect further and do a business assessment. Do you want to do it yourself And yes, you see the courses, you see the guidance. We can meet maybe once a quarter, but you take control. Do you want to do it with support, where you're going to invest a little bit more of time, but I'll be there to guide you and to accelerate that learning curve? You know, it's going to save you time by doing it with me one-on-one. And of course, injecting all these resources and just accelerating the process. Or do you want to do it, do it yourself, do it with support? What's the last part? Delegated, I guess.
Or just
You know,
delegated,
but
period.
I'll tell you, yeah, Dr. Fran, I'll say this.
See you something. But
I want to know just enough to know what I should be receiving and what I need to keep my business totally legal. But I just don't want to be in the trenches doing it every day.
It's a decision you have to make, and it has to be aligned with your budget and your time. Those are the two main resources, because when you delegate it 100%, then it's going to be more expensive. The middle, you make the financial investment, but you also put the time, then you work around your budget with that. And the people that have been doing it yourself is because technically you got no money, but at some point you realize, I gotta do the investment because doing it myself might not be working. So pretty much that decision is based on your budget and how much time you want to put into it, and that I leave up to you.
And Yasnai, I want to add something to that, Dr. Fran, that I think that there's two issues there. Number one, you should not want to delegate the money making and understanding how you make money in your business, right? So that you need to, as a business owner, get a handle on and become literate and competent on how money moves through your business. That's something you don't want to delegate, okay? Because you hear horror stories of folks that do that. Like, for example, athletes or boxers or whatever, they delegate it completely. And what happens? It's a sad story. They end up not having the resources later because they were taken advantage of. You hear those stories all the time. So you need to own your balance sheet and understand it so that you can see where you're falling short and we can improve things, make more money. What is the profitability of the business and all these things. And if you delegate that, you won't have a handle. It's kind of like you don't know the health of your own business. However, when it comes to taking that balance sheet and now using a software component to make it easier to manage, so you don't have to spend so much time, that's when I think bringing in an expert that knows that software and can walk you through the steps so that you understand it, right? You get your car fixed, you want to understand what the mechanic is doing, right? You don't just want to give them money. So I think it's like that, finding that middle space. You own the financials, they will own the software, but let's meet in the middle and learn how they interact. And that's it. Then you can go focus on strategy.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Danilo, because honestly, the delegate part is, I remember it was do it for you. But let's be honest, I don't consider myself a bookkeeping business. That's not who I am. I'm not in the bookkeeping industry. I'm in the education industry. So regardless how much you want to delegate, I'm going to educate you anyways. And that's going to be part of the deal when I'm doing it for you. Also, when you really learn how to use QuickBooks, you get to realize there's a lot of ways to automate things. This is not the old school ways anymore. You don't have to do things one by one manually. There is a lot of ways to create rules and automate this process. And when you learn that, you get to fall in love with your QuickBooks. And that's what I do. I'm going to help you fall in love with it.
You're going to fall in love, Dr. Fran. So we're running out of time, guys. I have to get onto our other folks that have questions. So Miss Gasleen, you're up
Thank
next.
you.
Yes, Mr. Danilo. First of all, like I always tell you, you always do an awesome, amazing job. You always picking the right people for some reason. But this topic in particular is definitely for me today. Because Tuesday, I spoke to a financial advisor or whatever, and I was all over the place based on what he said. And I'm like, Dr. Fran, who have time to try to keep up with all this stuff? And especially me, I work, and the time I get off, it's just crazy, you know? And so listening to this here, I mean, the opportunity Miss Yasni has for us, it's amazing because I really need it. If you don't know about your business and how much you're making and what you're putting in and where it's going, you lost. And that's me. I'm lost. I'm all over the place. I ain't gonna say I was embarrassed, but it was a wake-up call. And like I keep saying, the pandemic actually woke me up because I was asleep, like sleep. A lot of us, yeah, we have to take time. We have to learn money management, learn how to balance and know, because otherwise, how are you going to invest into the next chapter of your life? How are you going to know where you're going if you're not together? And honestly, I wasn't together. And that's why God said, guess what? You're not getting a business until you figure it out. So yeah, you're going to have to go somewhere and learn and continue to grow. And for me, I don't mind learning because that's how you build, that's how you grow, that's how you get better. So Ms. Yasne, I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart, and I can't wait to register.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Ms. Gasoline, for that testimony. I want to go to Sabine.
I'm more of a comment.
Yes.
I want to commend Yasne because coming from an immigrant parent, that they always ask you to do everything for them and it's so annoying. And she took that problem and made it a business, like the business of helping others. She took it and make it a passion to the point where she even made it multilingual, you know? I commend you because so many of us do need that handhelling. And it's like, yeah, there's you can have all the resources in the world, but not everybody has the skills that it takes and the understanding that even when the resources is provided to get it. So I commend you so much.
Thank you, Sabine. And this hits home for me because it takes a different approach. You know, honestly, working with the type of entrepreneurs that, you know, are immigrants, maybe have the language barrier, and the fact that we're all learning this, the way you teach, the way you present the information has to be different. My parents never graduated from college. How come you're gonna teach them the information in a college-oriented format? Then they don't get it, you know? And as I mentioned again, there's a lot of components besides the finances, is the awareness, is the personal development, because at some point I realized the solution is not to do things for you. I just can't. And at some point when I was working in another nonprofit, managing a small business development program, I took the approach that I was taking with my parents, with all of my clients. You know, the weight I had in my shoulders, you know, but I realized I cannot do it for you. I have to give you the tools, but most importantly, be strategic on how I'm doing it, so you can really take advantage of it. There's a lot of psychology involved in it. And that's why personal development is huge for me. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that, Sabine and Yasnai. You know, for me, Yasnai, the first component that you listed, the personal development, is a huge factor, right? I know Marcela has mentioned it before many times, that a lot of times what holds us back is our mindsets, right? Our mindsets. And the fact that you address these three issues, the mindset issue, the how do you automate and set up systems in your business, and then the financial management piece is pretty huge. I wanted to see, I think Dale from Wisconsin, he was joining us first. He dropped off the call, but I wanted to ask him, because I know he has struggled with QuickBooks implementation.
No, I'm here.
Oh, are you there? Dale, there you are. So Dale, tell us about, and I'm going to go then to Miss Gloria. Okay. So we got to kind of make it quick because we're running out of time. Dale, what's the pain point with coming to QuickBooks?
Okay, I had hired somebody to do the 990. I have the QuickBooks for nonprofit, not for profit, and doing the report to Tallahassee and all of that was a pain point. And this year, because of COVID and everything, the person that did my QuickBooks last year did not accept me as a client. So I ended up going through Upworks and finding somebody in India to do the balance the account and give me the reports so I could send it into the government. And the as you call the pain point was that when she sent it back, I couldn't upload it into my system.
Hmm.
I tried everything. I looked at the YouTube videos. I consulted with the person that did it, didn't know. So I was not able to integrate her work back into my QuickBooks. So that was the problem.
Yeah, and I actually had the opportunity to speak to you, Mr. Young, and one of the challenges that you mentioned earlier is the fact that you have a nonprofit. Something I honestly don't specialize in the nonprofit industry, and I'm very honest with my clients. My goal is to accelerate it. I don't want to waste your time, but yes, nonprofit is very unique when it comes to QuickBooks. And I tend to work more also with the QuickBooks Online version
I
instead
had
of
the desktop, yes.
the desktop. So that's something to keep in mind. I'm an expert in that aspect when it comes to online, and nonprofit is not my expertise, but I always keep an eye on how I can support clients in that sense. I'm still trying to find the right partner so I can put you in contact with.
Yes, and if anybody on the call, I know that we have some nonprofit leaders that can assist Mr. Young on this. That would be great to find out what kind of file you have, Dale, and see. And yes, Nai, is there anybody at QuickBooks like a toll-free number or some kind of help assistance that Mr. Young could pursue?
Yes, QuickBooks has the toll-free number. You have to choose whether it's online or desktop, and they can provide some guidance. To be honest, it depends on who you talk to and whether you get lucky in that process. They do have the resources, but you just have to be patient with it. And another thing is that QuickBooks now is moving into also providing bookkeeping support. Like they will connect you with a bookkeeper internally within QuickBooks. Whether it's worth it or not, it depends on your situation, but those are resources internally with their company.
Great,
But
thank
what
you.
I'm looking for with nonprofits is somebody that we can see eye to eye, and they really understand it, and they're more like personal, not just a 100 phone number. It's somebody you can talk to and you can trust. And as soon as I find that, I will share.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Thank
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dale.
Thanks for
Miss-
remembering.
Absolutely. I'm going to go to Miss Gloria and then Miss Vanessa.
Good morning, everyone. Gloria
Good morning.
Fonseca from Fonseca LLC. I am highly appreciated for this type of information, education, and I am cheerleader for Community Foundation, for SBDC, for Spira, for all the entities that educate entrepreneurs. And I am now a cheerleader for Jasnay because I can see it's easy to transfer, and I do think there is a common sense we all that are attending here. The way that she transfers things is easy to understand it and to take it. And the only reason that I can see that is because she's an entrepreneur and she has already implemented everything that she's passing now in this moment. And when you have the ability to know where the shoes are tying, exactly, you have the ability to help others with exactly the problem that they have. And I think the resources that she was giving us is very important to know the numbers. And that was the first thing that I learned and that I implemented. Even though I am a professional economist, I didn't have expertise as an entrepreneur. And when you don't know your product, when you don't know your client, when your ideal client, when you don't know the cost of goods sold, it's difficult to have accounting that show you the X-rates of your company. So when I learned everything, I started implementing it. And in order to implement that, it takes time and it takes also resources. And we had to pay the people that is professional and know. So I hire an assistant for accounting. And every time that she does all my conciliation, that is weekly, because I don't want to lose 1 week without knowing what we did, what we had to do, and where we're at. I sit with her and I learn everything that she's showing me, that she's an expert. It's not a burden for me, even though accounting is not my strong point. But since she's strong on that, for me, it's not a burden. And that would be an advice for those that there are many areas that we are not an experts, and it takes for us a lot of burden. And that's why we put it in a second plan. But when you hire somebody that is an expert, and that person can help you and you can understand and delegate some things, but you are hands-on, I think it's a plus for your company. So thank you very, very much for this information, education, and for all the entities that assist small businesses in Spanish, English, and Creole. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Ms. Gloria, for sharing that with us. Thank you so much. Ms. Vanessa?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I just had a couple of things to share with Dale really quickly. Dale, you need to make sure that your chart of accounts is set up to reflect your needs for reporting. And that sounds like that did not happen for you. You need, if you're going to be outsourcing your balancing, you need to make sure that the person that you're outsourcing it to has the accountant version of QuickBooks, because they should be able to work and it should integrate right back in. If they don't have that, that's not going to happen. Or that you have somebody that's coming to you and that's actually working in your books. I would recommend the first and not the second. And you need to be balancing monthly, and that's where our wonderful presenter today can help you, even if you have 0 transactions, because you're not going to catch any kinds of errors. And then when you get ready to do your reports, it's going to be really labor intensive. So balance every single month and just get yourself a basic understanding of how QuickBooks works so that you can ask the right questions of whoever you're hiring so that you don't end up in the situation you were just in. So that's my 2 cents. If I can help you in any way, I do run a nonprofit and have been working in QuickBooks for nonprofits for the Diocese of Southeast Florida, doing audits for local churches and then working in it myself. So I'm happy if you need just a little tiny bit of advice, I can do that. If you need training, all the QuickBooks training is amazing, no matter whether it's nonprofit specific or not. You just need to understand the basics of how it works.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Ms.
this
Vanessa,
is great.
thank
And
you.
I remember when I spoke to Mr. Young, I told him, there is somebody in the morning huddle that I think can help you. And I was referring to Vanessa when I mentioned that, Mr.
Okay, thank you.
Great, fantastic. So guys, it's been a great session. I want to give Yasnay the final word. Yasnay, what last piece of wisdom can you share with us?
You know, just do it. The fact that you're here today, I commend your commitment to your business and to make this happen. Just keep taking advantage of the resources available and do what you gotta do. Book the call with me. If I cannot help you directly, I'll connect you with somebody that can. But honestly, I'm extremely passionate about this. So if QuickBooks is your issue, if numbers are your issue, just book the call, and I look forward to supporting you.
Fantastic, guys. Let's give her a big round of applause to Ms. Yasnay Montalvo. She did a fantastic job. You're all connected to a great leader that cares about small businesses, because it goes deep with her. It's not just, hey, I'm the QuickBooks person. No, she cares about small businesses. That's what makes me feel so honored to be with you guys, because I know the mayor loves small business owners. I love them. Yasnay loves them. All of you love them. And so we have an opportunity here to, for the rest of the year, manage your money in a better way. So what better way to be successful than to get control of your finances? So with that, thank you guys so much for joining us, and we'll do it again next Friday. Don't miss it, because we got some great speakers coming up. Thank you again, Yasnay, and thank you all for being here. Have a great weekend.